Spencer Lazara, MMAinterviews.tv. We are here in Huntington Beach. I'm alongside Bellator CEO, Mr. Bjorn Rebney. Huge week for you here, your debut on Spike TV. Talk about the excitement that's just billowing out of you as we speak here.
A lot of excitement. Not a lot of sleep, so the excitement doesn't manifest itself in everything, but and not a lot of shaving, but huge excitement. I mean, we've been waiting for this Spike launch now for literally almost 2 years. I mean, when we first cut the deal with MTV2, it was all toward the vision of getting to Spike. And I mean, it's the home to MMA. I mean, it's just all the studies we've done. And when you talk to just guys on the street that are MMA fans, they go, "Oh, I watch my MMA on Spike." So to be able to be with the group who's responsible for crossing this over into the general market from a TV perspective and know how to promote and market and brand and advertise it, and to be launching there in a couple of days in prime time on a Thursday night following Impact, which is one of their most successful shows, it's pretty cool. And to be coming out of the box with Kern versus Pitbull and Han versus Chandler and Babalu's premiere on Bellator and stuff, it's just it's great. It's exciting and it's great, and it's just going to be exciting to see it all start to kick off week after week.
We've seen the growth of these guys, Kern, Chandler, and to superstars, really, guys who really know the sport, but I think the casual fans still aren't aware quite of the skills that these guys possess and the high-level athletes that they are. Do you feel like this is a coming-out party for them?
Well, it is. I mean, you know, you look at the rankings in most websites right now, and Kern's #2 in the world. It's like Jose Aldo and Kern are 1 and 2. So, you know, you look at those kind of numbers and you realize there's a group of guys at Bellator that are in that same kind of position, but we haven't had the platform. And now we've got this platform that anybody who's an MMA fan or even has peripherally thought about MMA goes, "Oh, Spike. Oh yeah, that's where they show the MMA." Even if you're like a baseball fan who may have watched a couple of fights or been to a buddy's house to watch pay-per-view, you go, "Oh, Spike Network, that's MMA." So to be able to launch on that platform, I mean, whether it's Chandler, whether it's Askren or Amasu or Shlemenko or Falcao or Kern or Pitbull, whoever it is, that's going to be a huge launch pad. I mean, it's an amazing catalyst to be able to say, not only are they some of the best fighters in the world, but the Q score and the recognition factor just goes through the roof with that platform. So it's exciting not just for me, but it's exciting for Patricio Pitbull to stand over there, Pat Kern or Mike Chandler, Rick Hahn.
Yep. Do you have a projected numbers, you know, of ratings that you're expecting or that you would be happy with?
Not really. I mean, I don't mean to sound like you know, kind of getting out of the way of punches on the question, but my partners and I have looked at this realistically as a marathon and not as a sprint. And they are, when I say partners, like a lot of people in the sports business go, "Oh, this or that are our partners." They're not really your partners. They're a distribution platform that pays you a license fee. Spike are our partners. We are absolutely partners. They own a majority stake in my company. They are vested. They sit on the board. When we sign new fighters or we make production changes or we alter formats or we create new promotional vehicles, all of those are conversations between our company and our partners at Spike. So it's a much different dynamic. So we're really looking at this long term. What we want to see is growth. First event, second, when you get down to the 11th or 12th event of the season, you want to see slightly higher numbers than maybe you saw out of the box. That's what we're looking for. But it's a long-term play.
Definitely. And was there a hope? I mean, you have an event next week. So it seems like kind of having them back-to-back is really hoping that people, you know, end up tuning into this and it gets some good press, because only in 1 week you're going to have another major event featuring King Mo.
Yeah, and the week after that another event, and the week after that another event for 12 weeks. I mean, it's an old school kind of format as it relates to planning for television and programming. Same time, same place, same channel. And ultimately you can tune in at 10 o'clock, which is when guys like you and I typically get control over the remote, 10 p.m. Thursday night, and you can watch. And then you can know that next Thursday you can have the same opportunity to watch, or you can get together with your buddies and go to Dave & Buster's, and you can go to viewing parties on Thursday nights and drink beers and watch TV and eat great food. So it is about that repetition. And like, you know, look, if Seinfeld had launched 15 years ago and Seinfeld had been on at 8 o'clock on a Thursday one night, and then 5-6 weeks later it had been on Tuesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then maybe Sunday at 1, we wouldn't be talking about Seinfeld. I wouldn't be able to say the name and you wouldn't go, "I know exactly what you're talking about. It was Thursday night block of comedy on NBC." So that's what it really comes down to, is giving people an opportunity to go, "Okay, that's my destination viewing experience. They're going to provide me with awesome MMA and great backstories and incredible production quality and some of the best fighters in the game." That's how you get that moving, and that's been our vision from the very beginning. We do 4 shows in the time most promotions on earth do 1. So
We've seen the depth get much better in Bellator over the years, but it seems like depth is still something that you want to increase, especially because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, marketing guys like King Mo or Mike Chandler, just for the possibility that they might lose. Do you feel like that depth is still something you will be looking to improve, especially with Strikeforce now, being gone and maybe more available fighters?
Yeah, and I don't know that we'll go down the guys who are not getting signed by the UFC out of Strikeforce model, which has never really been our model, but it'll be about signing the next Will Brookses of the world. Guys at 155 who are 8-0, who are rock stars, who competed on the New Year's Eve show in Dream, look like $1 million, have got unbelievable potential, and could be the next Michael Chandler, or somebody of that ilk. Maybe he won't be Chandler, but you look at guys like that, that's where really kind of our heart and soul is you find the young fighter who's just on the cusp and maybe a fight or two away, and you give him the opportunity and let him earn it. And for those fighters who are 2 or 3 fights into their career, you put them on a developmental program, you give them 5 fights over a 9 to 12 month period, and then suddenly they're 9 or 10-0, and then suddenly they can get into the deep water. So that's the way we approach it. Whereas, in other organizations, you typically get 2-3 fights a year, and it would take you a couple of years to get that next 6 fights in your career. With us, if we see somebody who we think could be a star, we'll give them 5-6 fights literally in a very short period of time and get them ready to rock and roll.
When did you first come across Mike Chandler? I'm just curious. And when were you first blown away, as I'm sure you were as I was, with his talent level?
Right. Sam Kaplan, our VP of Talent Development, called me, and he said, there is this freak athlete. He's a Mizzou wrestler. He's national caliber in his wrestling. And he said, I'm probably wrong, but he just had a fight for Strikeforce, and he looked amazing. And I honestly don't think they have any options on him. And I went, really? Send me some video. And he sent me some video, and I went, wow. And he said to me, he said, look, I'll dig into it. I don't want to interfere with anybody's agreement, but his management is telling me that they don't have any options. He said, I don't know why they would have put him on a show if they don't have options on him, because this kid is a freak of nature. But he said, do you want him? And I was like, I'll get on a plane tomorrow morning to sign that kid. And they didn't have any options on him. They'd put him on a Strikeforce show, and we just grabbed that deal and did it immediately.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. I mean, he's just, he's a national caliber, potentially world-class caliber wrestler who uses his wrestling to set up his hands as opposed to using, his hands to try to set up takedowns. I mean, he's crazy.
Yeah, well, his scrambling ability was the first thing that I noticed, having met him in Extreme Couture, and now the rise of his stand-up progression is on par with guys like Cormier and Dillashaw and guys that I see like that.
Yeah, at a spectacular level, and it's happened so fast. I mean, his ability to, sponge-like ability to digest information and then have it translate into hands. I mean, he won the Alvarez fight based on outstriking Eddie Alvarez and putting him down 4 times in the fight. If you had asked me to bet the house at the time I thought Ed was ultimately one of the best strikers in the world at 55 from a technical striking perspective, and Chandler outstruck him. So I mean, he's a special talent, and so is Han. That's a crazy world title fight coming up Thursday. Going
to be great, definitely. Another guy whose striking has improved a lot is King Mo. There was actually a video came out yesterday of him dropping his sparring partner. I don't know if you caught that.
Sure did. Big right hand. Watched it 7-8 times.
Pretty impressive stuff. How excited are you for his debut on Spike next week? And do you expect him to be really a staple of Bellator?
Oh, yeah, without question. I mean, the commitment that we made to him and that I made in partnership with Dixie to him in terms of the Impact crossover with Bellator. And just he's such a, I mean, when his knee is, he's the whole package. And when his knee is 100%, the guy's conceptually one of the best 205ers in the world. He's just everything you would want. He's super bright. He's super charismatic. He knows how to play to the camera. He's got unbelievable skills in our cage. He's developing those skills in their ring at Impact. So he's a special character. I will be doing a lot of stuff with King Mo.
Definitely excited to see it. Thank you for the time. Bjorn Rebney, I'm Spencer Lazara. Be sure to check out MMAinterviews.tv for more coverage of Bellator, and tune in Thursday night as they debut on Spike TV.